Hello everybody, my name is Antoine. Welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 Red World as the American People's Commonwealth. Let us continue on from where we last left off. So, Mr. Gorbachev. we just had a major terrorist attack, and this is what you have to... Anyway, there's been a major terrorist attack, and now things are kind of... Anyways, Mikhail Gorbachev says we had it coming. In a glorified press conference at the Kremlin, chairman of the Soviet Union, Mikhail Gorbachev, himself stated that the Commonwealth had it coming. Failing to label this terrorist attack, instead declared that May Day strategy was proof of our failure and more likely to act... And more likely an act perpetrated by communist freedom fighters. After this relatively brief statement to eager state-controlled journalists, the chairman returned to his grand offices as if nothing had happened. While the statement was surely meant to divide our nation, it clearly united us even further. Now it is clear that the Commonwealth still has a common enemy and that the Soviet establishment leadership simply does not care about our plight. Wow, Mr. Gorbachev. Very, very rude, I would say. Commonwealth rallies behind New York. President Chomsky's deeply moving speech at New York City Hall Chamber has resonated throughout the American populace, alongside the Council's televised minutes-long-standing ovation for the Commander-in-Chief. According to the official reports of several departments, thousands are still flocking to New York in an effort to volunteer and help those human beings. They've only been energized by this amazing address. Posters with closing lines, Tessini's Ulysses, are being printed not just by the government organizations, but by private citizens who have taken them as inspirational quotes to unite. Yeah. Responsibility. Everything's going well. What about Illinois? I could justify a war goal and just kind of attack you. 500 days? Never mind. That's way too long. The Gates Declaration. Until now, the Technological Council... Why would Bill Gates, by the way, be in here and not in, like... I actually know it makes perfect sense why you wouldn't be in Washington, because it's currently currently ruled by you guys, who I think are backed by the Soviets. So maybe I can understand why you wouldn't want to be there. Anyways, the Gates Declaration. Until now, the Technological Council, reclusive chief Bill Gates, had remained on the sidelines, preferring to remain apolitical in almost every situation, even when terrorist attacks occur. But it seems this May Day has struck a chord with our once enemy of the state and abductee of the more aggressive council in the past. In his nationally televised event from his home in Manhattan, Gates declared that the time has come for new leadership in the Commonwealth, whether it comes from President Chomsky's removal or rejuvenation and restructure of the Central Committee. He himself stated this is certainly not an endorsement of either faction within Philadelphia's government, but instead a declaration of solidarity with the American people, not their appointed and elected officials. The aptly named Gates Declaration has divided many, with two sides supporting Philadelphia established in a rapidly growing grassroots operations. We get a little bit less popular. We're still at 69% nice support. The Central Committee has blamed Chomsky as part of their emergency convention just these days after the May Day attack. Philadelphia's Central Committee has already blamed Noam Chomsky for this unimaginable declaration of war. They have also claimed the evidence supporting a far-right attack on our nation is clear, continuing to point out that the president has failed to formulate a response to celebration. What do you mean? I rescued one lady like a month ago, and you're all celebrating me then. What are you talking about? That's politics, I guess. You look, Libya, I don't care. So Chomsky has... Oh, never mind. We're not reading that one. New York governor returns from vacation. Governor of New York State, Bill de Blasio, has finally returned from his vacation in Bhutan. Why were you in Bhutan? After much of the anger of his constituents, according to the eminent politician and one of the only neutral leaders between the Old Guard and New Guard factions, circumstances within the small Himalayan nation met. He heard about May Day's unfortunate number of days after it occurred. Of course, this could only be true. Like, this could be true by many. In the capital, region certainly not off the grid. But like Bhutan? What a strange place to go. Perhaps he resigned. Maybe you shouldn't have been in Bhutan. This is Gorbachev's purged the Politburo. Journalists are resigning because they do not like. Yeah, they don't want to defend his vacation, which I guess is understandable. The far-right underground claims responsibility. The previous unheard of far-right underground group in Illinois and Indiana regions have claimed responsibility for 5-1. The White American Liberation Front is apparently white supremacist radical group aimed at overthrowing Philadelphia's socialist government and Atlanta's Democratic administration. Why Atlanta? Anyway, proclaiming a new beginning for the Commonwealth according to their mass leader. The May Day tragedy was just the beginning of a serious attack against our people and would never stop until our reign is over. Intelligence agency is scamming to uncover more details about this group, but so far, efforts that proved fruitless. However, it is becoming increasingly clear they could be direct connections to the Vermont insurgency that ended earlier this year. The suspicion led to Governor Bernie Sanders publicly claiming that he will work with Philadelphia in any way that will result in destruction of the repulsive organization. This is surprising, coming from the most moderate and anti-authoritarian leaders in America, and the unofficial leader of the direct democracy movement. So you're Indiana, you're Illinois. Okay. Central Community Building has received a bomb threat. Bomb threats happen all the time. Don't worry about that. And I'm assuming you are a Flight 170. So basically, it all happened exactly the same as it did in real life. Even the exact same planes were involved, which is maybe a little bit surprising. We can't get back here, right? No, you actually can. We'll send a handful more troops, because we need to probably deal with Washington, D.C. when we can. And free military factories. Probably want rifles, I would say. I know we have a lot of them already in storage, but we want to get our guys up to at least, I mean, how many we have? 52 artillery pieces. If I wanted to put artillery in these guys, because right now they're 16, which should mean I could, you'd be a 22 with? You need 84. We'd be missing a ton. So no, we're not going to do that, at least not right now. New York governor has been fired, exercising extraordinary powers as president of the American People's Republic. Noam Chomsky has suddenly fired New York Governor Bill de Blasio after extensive consultation with the trade councils and representatives from the state itself. These come from criticism the governor mounted after his extended vacation in Bhutan, which many say was a waste of taxpayer money and delayed the united response to May Day's attack. Good riddance. Get out of here, Bill de Blasio. But what do I do? Like, if I was to make you just infantry, even just to get you up to 20 with, we'd be missing a lot. Each one goes up by 13. We'd be missing 2,000, but I still think it makes sense for us to do it. I know we don't have the manpower for it, like, not even slightly. But again, like, what do you do? And I think the only thing we can really do is just going down this tree as well. I don't think we have a lot of options. Research slots. Resource gain efficiency, I think, could be decent. It would not be, because we're actually fine on all of our resources that we domestically make. So let's get better light tanks. I think that seems okay. I'd be good for now if there's just less pop-up events for at least a little while. Libyan communists have risen up. Apparently the Libyan syndicalists have risen up. I don't even know how there'll be syndicalists in Libya. Yeah, so now these guys are all in a big civil war. Who's going to come out on top? The answer is I don't think it matters at all. There's a new operating system, though. Congratulations. We've gotten Windows. Like, actually, this looks more like Mac, but still. Ethiopia, the military has now taken charge there. And we have more. Do we need more? Like, how long will it take for us to get 2.6 thousand rifles? About a year. And if we've got a year, I think we do want at least one more factory making modern infantry equipment. Do I need to get a... I mean, I might as well draw an invasion plan to Washington, D.C., even though it is only one province deep. And do I have any information against you now? I have 5. So I know I have a basic understanding of what you guys might do. And also let us go for an army department. It's going to be done in 30 days, but not too bad. Okay, trade council members stealing state funds. Oh, that sucks. And now we're going to go for a Bernie speech in 35 days. We do need better recruitment laws for sure. We'll actually be making a handful. We'll actually be recruiting some more population, which is nice. And the wall's still going to take like an extra year. May 28th. But yeah, about a year from now. United Arab Republic has dissolved. Again, not that I think that matters too much for us at all. We also still need more tanks. But you know what? One more factory for our rifles, I think, makes perfect sense. The army of combined syndicates have capitulated. Not a huge surprise. Again, I don't know how many syndicalists would exist in Libya. You know, I don't think the idea... free military factories. Again. I mean, how many are we making? We're making a decent amount. What are you? You're a hospital. You're a research center. I mean, sure, let's see what you do. Put you right to the top. How long is that gonna take to build? May 3rd. Actually, it's not that. No, it's almost like an entire year. We are 25,000. You know, let's also build one hospital in Pennsylvania just to see what it does. We also can just build factories that just give us resources. So I mean, building like rubber factories is not a bad idea, or chromium, because I think those are really the two things that we're missing. Yeah. But we need to make actually like a handful of chromium. British Prime Minister has been assassinated. Prime Minister David Owen and his deputy Shirley Williams were hunted. Oh, sucks for them. Also, why were they hunting in the outer London? Is there not like a decent population over there? I would imagine that there's a not insignificant number of people who live in the outer outskirts, but whatever. Support for democracy grows. Civilian factory, division training time. 3 civilian factories. I mean, that's not bad. Yeah, we'll get some free factories for now. I think that makes most amount of sense. Almost 524. But let justice roll like a river. Righteousness like never a falling stream. Justice, treating others the way we want to be treated. Treating all people, no matter their race, their color, their stature in life, with respect and with dignity. Now here is my point. Some of you may agree with me and some of you may not. But in my view, it would be hard for anyone in this room today to make the case that we, the American People Commonwealth, the country that all of us love, that we are just a society or anything resembling a just society today. The Commonwealth today is just a massive injustice in every sense of the world. It is rampant. We live, and I hope all of you know this, in the wealthiest country in the American continent. But most Americans don't know that, because almost all of that wealth and income is going to the elites in Philadelphia, New York, Chicago, and every single train council that leeches off our citizens. Now that's the truth. We are living in a time where a handful of people have political power behind comprehension, giving them the ability to maintain tyrannical control over every aspect of society for the rest of the Commonwealth's history. At the very same moment, there are millions of people who are struggling to feed their families. They're struggling to put a roof over their heads. They're struggling to find a place in our beautiful Commonwealth. And yet, with all that power concentrated in each metropolis, the elites do nothing. That is why we as the United American populace must begin a new political revolution. Excellent closing lines, Mr. Sanders. We do have an extra military factory, though. More rifles wouldn't be bad. Or another thing of support equipment. Yeah, more rifles. I still think makes the most amount of sense. Also, we'll put these tanks somewhere up to the north. It really doesn't matter where they deploy. Quite yet. Lula Shella banned. Pittsburgh radio host Lula Shella been suddenly banned by Governor of Philadelphia Jennifer. Popular media personality. Criticized by various state administration officials. Leading the governor and her allies Central Committee, a gang of self-absorbed mini-Stalins. Statement that has brought her significant praise from fellow entertainers across the country. Yesterday's social media account was suspended for undisclosed reasons, followed by a letter from the governor herself warning Shella that further pro-terrorist activities would be met with harsh consequences. Pittsburgh favorites, however, refused to cooperate, following up with her previous statement to by bringing in a fellow anti-Philadelphia activist on a radio show. The two discussed current government policy, the influence of new Guard faction members of the supposed independent local administrations. Once again brought upon her wrath of Rampallo, signing an order that would legally cease all of her operations with immediate effect. Any of this stuff? 2013, it's like a little bit. The debate begins. Why is there so many text boxes? 2 days after beginning, 2 days after the banning of Lula Shella from activities on the airwaves, a fresh debate began in Pennsylvania. On display is the full authoritarian potential of each state government, forgetting for many years as no entertainer or political activist has dared to insult leaders in such a hard crackdown in Ohio, gave birth to stronger regulations in every single Commonwealth state. Now, however, opponents and supporters of the constitutional powers of Pennsylvania Governor Jennifer Rampallo are debating across the state whether powers themselves should even exist. Both factions within the Central Committee, this is a pivotal issue. On one hand, the new Guard explicitly advocates for authoritarian measures to crack down on dissidents within the Commonwealth. Retaining these constitutional powers would give that strength to the old Guard state administrations with almost no limits. Governors could shut down pro-Central Committee sentiment within their own states. Okay. Well, our tanks are almost ready to go. We could get... Oh, you're also 2013. 2012 is also expensive. Why are you also expensive for me to research? You know what? You're still researching. Let's just go for the production efficiency cap. The 2011 tack, but we're almost already there anyways. Shella takes the issue to Supreme Court. Commonwealth Supreme Court of Philadelphia is the highest judicial court in the land. Almost all citizens who feel as though they're facing injustice. It's notable use is the ability to interpret the 1990s Constitution and deem actions either by state government or the national administration as constitutionally acceptable or not. Today, Pittsburgh radio host and activist Lula Sheila has taken the issue and subsequent political debate concerning the abuse of powers by the Supreme Court. On the building steps, she declared that what Rapallo has done was simply unacceptable, and the Commonwealth Constitution would be on her side, as it should be for every citizen. It is hours until she exited the building for the first time in her life. Sheila appeared in good spirits and was more than likely certain that the court would stick by her against by Pennsylvania's government. Many, both in the state and outside, however, are skeptical, as various clauses within the national constitution do allude that is not at all a abuse of power. In fact, it is believed the governor could have, in fact, enacted far worse punishments for her arch nemesis radio host. Supreme Court will decide her fate. Not that I think it matters too much. We're going to meet with the conservatives. We're going to meet with the communists. We'll resign as governor. The Islamic State of Libya has capitulated, so that's another one of those guys down for the count. The World Linguistics Conference. For the first time since the 1980s, President Noam Chomsky has been able to embrace his prominence in linguistics as a science. Seen by most as the father of modern linguistics, the president called for the World Conference just a month ago, and finally, the day has come to convene it. From all around the world, those simply interested in the field of study or up to the most eminent linguists arrived in Philadelphia for the Commonwealth's first event of its kind. The conference opened with a speech from Chomsky himself, who thanked everyone for coming and proceeded to detail his history in the science, how he gradually became not just a prominent figure, but eventually a political leader of a pre-collapse movement. For most of the room, the conference wasn't just about linguistics, it was also about the unprecedented vision of Chomsky's life after the ascension to the presidency, due to the commander-in-chief's continuing reclusiveness when not in the capital. Philadelphia's opulent event will close in just under a week, when attendees will be invited to Chomsky's home for a final gathering. Italy has declared a refugee crisis. So, give me these civilian factories, and just for like 5 minutes, not pop up. Like, we're still in 27. Like, we're still in September of the first year. Queen Elizabeth apparently has been humiliated. The status did not let her into Parliament, which I don't think you're allowed to do. As far as I know, I don't know much about British parliamentary law. Construction time plus... I mean, research B plus 1%. Actually, it's not that great. Popularity of... a bunch of things go up. I mean, it doesn't really matter which one we go for right now. We might as well go for you, because you're the only one that actually provides a tangible benefit. Go with you guys. Go with you. Just give me all these 2011 industry upgrades. I think that's pretty good. And we might... we want 25 a day. Well, no, we're going to get this done pretty fast. We're going to go for... let's say 3 more in tanks. And then we'll import 1 more unit of chromium. Lula Sheila versus the state of Pennsylvania. In a nationally televised decision, the Supreme Court justices announced that they deemed the governor, Jennifer Rapallo's ban constitutionally acceptable. There is no mention of protection for citizens against these consequences in the 1990 Constitution, and there is an abundance of clauses that ensure that each state governor is legally able to ban Americans from inciting disharmony. Lula Sheila left the building in tears, unable to speak to journalists waiting on the steps, and refused to comment on the matter hours later. It seems that the unexpected result has shattered her will to continue fighting against the state government, also shown by many of her supporters suddenly losing the intense fervor that has strengthened her position before the historic ruling. Pennsylvania's Rapallo is reportedly glad that the highest judicial body in the Commonwealth supported her actions, but officially stated that this was an unexpected result, and that the governor never for 1 second believed the ban was constitutionally illegal. I don't know if that's like a random event, or if it's always guaranteed to go the same way. You should not actually be there, because that's a river crossing. Be here, and it'll not be a river crossing in the future. You guys still have decent experience. You guys haven't gone green, which is nice. Cascadia has rebelled. The Soviet foothold in America takes a blow. Yeah, no, that looks like it's not going to last very well, but we'll see. Got Cascadia against the UAPR. And what are you guys doing? We don't know quite yet. We do have a little bit of intelligence. Like, not a ton, but a little bit. Let's also go for just a little bit of passive defense as well. Proposed changes to the history curriculum. A member of the Education Council has pushed for the changes of the National History Curriculum, declaring in a surprise press release that the current content is unsatisfactory for all students in the great country. While there are some minor adjustments that are to be touched on by the media, most noticeable and publicized is the change of discourse concerning the old Confederacy. This one council member and some supporters outside the organization body believe that the current curriculum enforces a completely biased view against the Confederate States, labeling it as an evil fascist slave state. She has instead proposed that they adopt a less black and white position, touching on subjects such as state rights and opposition to federal encroachment, as well as on the other personal liberties at the time. Eventually, the decision, however, comes to President Chomsky as to whether or not he should sign the proposal into law. We can either just arrest them. Now everything is black and white. And just let them complain. We don't need to arrest them. I think that might be going a little bit too far for now. 100 political power, but we need 150 to actually get really anything done here, unfortunately. And then, might as well resign as governor. 100 political power, we'll take it. But I do think that for right now, it's going to be a good time for us to end this episode. So thanks everybody for watching my Anthem. If you enjoyed, my thumbs up. Did not enjoy, thumbs down. Want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.